Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Sunday, December 19. You know what time it is? It's a Sunday night. It's time for some Sunday night magic. Hi, everyone. My name is Javi, and welcome to the Variable Play Network. This is Sunday Night Magic, where we talk about all things magic. Maybe primarily or biased towards Commander, but you know what? Today is not going to be that kind of episode. To everyone that has been attending our VP Live event, thank you so much for your support. I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I'll try to be in the next one. You never know. Right. So today, our episode is going to be focused on a new upcoming set for Magic the Gathering. I'll try to monitor the comments and add everyone into the conversation here. I'd appreciate your feedback, anything that you'd like to add if you're excited for this new set. And what this set is known as or called is we are going to be talking about Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So, for those of you who are not aware, Kamigawa is a plane that has already existed in Magic the Gathering. I'm trying to remember what year, but basically, Magic the Gathering introduced Kamigawa when back in the days when they still did blocks. When I mean blocks, that was three sets that told an overarching story. So we got to see the champions of Kamigawa, the betrayers of Kamigawa, and finally the saviors of Kamigawa. So these were three sets that were pretty much jammed together to be the Kamigawa block. Um, if you watched my previous episodes about some of the worst mechanics I've ever seen, or some of my least favorite mechanics in Magic the Gathering, or if you know me generally, a lot of players have heard me already explain just how fundamentally dumb the Kamigawa set has been. It is one of my least favorite blocks ever. I get the Japanese theme. I get the whole feudal. Okay, you have the onis, you have um, the spirits, you have the kamis. I mean, it's an interesting story. I like the story itself. I like the setting. Even the fact that they were pushing legendary creatures. This is one of the first sets that Magic came up with that they really wanted to provide you more legendary creatures, even down to uncommon legends. So they really packed this with a lot of like notable characters. But unfortunately, the mechanics and power balancing here was just all over the place and bred some of the worst gameplay that I've ever experienced in standard format. So many cards of this entire block has gone forgotten and really didn't amount to anything. Like they introduced tribes that went nowhere. There is no moon folk deck. No one's playing Fox Tribal. Samurais never made it anywhere. The only ones that had a glimmer of hope, Melt Spirits is always going to be in every set, but ninjas were a standout and have thus far, been a viable strategy or tribe to play. So there is that. Some really good cards did come out of the set as well, but they're like few and far between. Like in a set of like 300 cards, you could have maybe found like two notable ones. So that's my personal opinion. But instead, okay, let's try to spin this into something positive that we are looking forward to the brand new set that is revisiting Kamigawa. And the reason why this is called Neon Dynasty is because this takes place 1200 years after our last visit. That's a pretty big jump in time. And to give you an idea of what you might be able to expect, let's begin first with one of the opening artworks that they have for this. This is actually designed by a local Filipino designer, so awesome job. The pretty much the whole Neon Dynasty means that it's still taking the elements of the original Kamigawa, but setting it in a futuristic setting that has a lot of these floating lights that, as you can see in the artwork. I also included right down here, here, right here, there, here, there. What? I'm working with a flipped screen, so this is really weird. But pretty much that's the expansion symbol. It may not mean much to other people, but a lot of other Magic the Gathering players, do really appreciate when they put in the time and effort to make a design here. So this looks like a mountain with what might be a sun or a moon in the background. It's pretty interesting stuff. To give you an idea of what the setting really does look like, they did provide several articles and artwork. There's actually a little bit of a story for the new Planeswalker that they added into the storyline. But here, let me just jump into some artwork. This is beautiful artwork here. The artist is indicated here as Leon Tucker. Awesome job. As you can see, it's still a sprawling city, but at the same time, it still has a lot of the ancient sensibility still there. So it's like a combination of the future and the past, which is really interesting. And the fact that there is still like nature incorporated into everything, that, you know, magic has fueled their technology, so to speak. It's not like a fight between science and magic here. Instead, it's the two of them sort of joining forces to bring this plane forward. So it's very promising. Now, some more artwork and some more information to share. So this here is actually from the official trailer that just came out. So you can find the official trailer, and it gives you a little bit more of an image of what the city of Kamigawa looks now. And I mean, I think Neon Dynasty really does sum it up really well. Underneath, I added in here just to throw in just a little bit of bonus here. This is the um, commander pre-constructed expansion symbol for this set. So there is the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty set itself, as you've seen in the previous slide, but this one here is the symbol for the pre-constructed commander decks. You will be seeing two. Their names were leaked, and there is some information because you can pre-order them, but we don't know anything about the colors, the contents, and we could probably say that it's going to be headed by brand new commanders. But the two pre-constructed commander decks are known as Buckle Up and Upgrades Unleashed. Buckle Up might be leading towards a vehicle deck. Upgrades Unleashed could be a new mechanic, could even be bringing in, let's say, maybe more equipment, enchantments. We're not sure. There's a lot of speculation that you can read up on with other sites. So, if you really want to look into that, by all means. But if you are looking for official announcements, I can share with you the timeline as we get towards the end of this episode. So let's move forward. So we know the set name, we have the set symbol. Again, we are looking at a sort of Japanese themed plane, but we're looking at it at 1200 years into the future. For the products themselves, there's a couple of things that people can expect. We're going to have the usual set boosters. I'm sorry, the draft boosters, followed by the set boosters, and of course the collector boosters. So there are three different products, and actually behind the draft booster, those are the two commander decks, but there is really no details yet shared about them. Behind the set booster that you're looking at, that's the bundle box. So I mean, the bundle is going to be out as well. Usual line of Magic products. We're going to be looking at something a little unique about them a little later on. But first, let's move to the setting. As I mentioned earlier, they are going to be introducing a brand new Planeswalker. It's really 1200 years into the future. But they said that they're going to be revisiting and showing past characters. That's odd, because how can you have past characters survive 1200 years unless they are ancients, or unless they are gods or spirits? Or one of the first things that came to mind with some of the artwork that they shared could be the five legendary dragons that ran Kamigawa, so to speak. So, seeing this artwork showed me a lot of promise that, you know, dragons can live quite a long while based on lore that, since Magic the Gathering is part of Wizards of the Coast, I'm sure they share the same lore and logic for Dragon Age, and they can stay around for quite a while. But alas, that isn't quite true because they did share their very first spoiler card, and it shows a completely different dragon. They started now with Atsushi the Blazing Sky. So this is different from the original red legendary dragon that they did have in the original Kamigawa set, which means that a different dragon is representing the red color, and that most likely means that, unfortunately, the previous elder dragons or legendary dragons of Kamigawa have passed. So what you're looking at here on the left side is the original or standard magic version of Atsushi, and then to the right is the extended art version. So similar to the sets that have come before this, they are going to be doing the normal version, the extended art version, and then also this one, which is the borderless version, the full art version of the same card, so to speak. This is typically going to be for rares and mythics only. I think it's a rare situation for them to really do like full art for uncommons and commons, but it has happened in the past. I think maybe Commander Legends or the specialty sets were the ones that handled that. So you can expect, of course, standard cards, extended art versions, and then full art versions that you are looking at an example here. Along with that, they also have, well, this here is a good example of a returning character. Um, I'm going to try to pronounce this. This is Hidetsugu. Okay, so this was actually originally a red character when introduced in the first Kamigawa set, and now pretty much making a return here with a new like secondary title as Devouring Chaos. Still has a red ability, which is interesting. So left side is you are looking at the standard magic version, and then to the right you are looking at something that they have. This is supposed to be the showcase cards, but they are referring to it as soft glow because they're trying to give this card, for the first time, they're kind of adjusting the way that they're doing the foiling process to give these cards sort of a glow to them. Like they want them to look luminescent, which is interesting. I mean, the usual foil process usually has like kind of that rainbow shine to it. I know the cold foiling gave it a metallic look. So this time is they're trying a different foiling process yet again to try giving these cards a different feel to them. And surprise, surprise, this one card is also getting a third treatment, so to speak, and it is called Neon Ink. I want to make this perfectly clear before I move to the next slide. It is only for Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos. No other cards in this set will be having the Neon Ink treatment, and their rarity is through the roof. They're barely gonna show up anywhere. So this is Magic the Gathering slowly stepping towards some serious collector items. Now the card itself isn't bad at all, but I guess this is sort of their experiment. So without further ado, these are the neon ink finishes for the same card. So we're looking again at Hidetsugu. The blue on the top left is going to be maybe the most common of the four that you're going to see in set boosters or collector boxes. The green one would have a higher rarity, less percentage of showing up, followed by the red one. The yellow one is actually particularly unique in that it will only be available with the Wizards Play Network, that this will be sent out to stores and most likely will be like tournament prizes. Hey, here we go. Hey, first comment. Hi, Mark. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I hope you find this information, useful, exciting. I mean, are you looking forward to the Kamigawa block? All right, so pretty much going back to what I was talking about here. This card alone, no other card in the set, will be getting these neon ink treatments. And the rarity of these are going to be increasingly harder to get. So starting from blue to green to red, and then the yellow one not even being available inside the card boxes, that this is going to be available from the shops. So that's what they're going to be doing to pretty much promote local and local game stores and person to person tournament play. Hi, Anna. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I hope you also find this episode interesting and hope you want to try out Magic's new upcoming set. So let's take a step forward. We've seen the normal cards, we've seen extended or full art versions. We also looked at the soft glow or showcase border and art that they're going to be doing. And then now we're looking at the neon ink, which is a very special case because it's only applicable to one kind of card. Let's move on to some other stuff that they've shared with us. The very first one here is the new Planeswalker being added to the set. This is Kaito Shizuki. So on the left here, you see the normal version, and on the right is what they're referring to as the ninja border. So that tells me that they may be introducing more ninjas into the set, and they might have their own showcase border, sort of like what they did for the previous set for Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, that they had the black and white or vampire treatments for certain cards. So the ninja cards might have alternate arts here, which is very interesting. Kaito is a new planeswalker, so there is still there's no information about him prior to this set, but his origin story is available for you to read on the Wizards of the Coast website if you are interested. I'm not really going to get into the abilities here, but instead, what I'm going to be discussing now is there's actually a third version of him, which is going to be very rare for people to acquire, not as much as the neon ink, but this is going to be coming out of the Japanese sets. So if you buy magic cards in Japan and if you buy collector booster boxes from them, you could possibly land an alternate art of Kaito. And this is going to be the very specific alternate art that they're introducing here. It's supposed to be available only in Japan. The announcements will be going out soon. It's a little interesting though, like the version that I was able to pull up is English. I'm not sure if this was directly translated, but it looks like it is the card itself. So they've done this with Mystical Archives that for Strixhaven, the Japanese sets had the Japanese pretty much alternate arts available. So they're doing it again for this set. This is the very first card that they've spoiled, and there most likely will be more. Keeping in the theme of keeping in the theme of Japanese culture, one of the other interesting things that they're also bringing into the set, and this isn't just limited to boxes in Japan, but set boosters, draft boosters, collector boosters are going to be including full art lands. And these might be some of my most favorite full art lands. And I actually want several of them in probably foil if possible. These here are the planes that are being added into the set, and they look awesome. Hey, here we go. Hi, Mikey. Thank you for joining. You might be coming back to Magic because of this. English test suggests that. Yep, so there most likely may be an English version included in the collector boxes. We're still waiting for the announcement, but when that artwork was revealed, it was revealed by the Japan team of Wizards of the Coast. These lands, though, they did specify that it was going to be included. If you're looking at the bottom left here, you can see NEO, so that's Neo, and that's the name of the set for Neon Dynasty. And then it says JP, so these are um, pretty much Japanese language lands. So it's going to be available in the Japanese prints. And they said that it is going to be available also in set boosters and draft boosters. So we're looking forward also to hearing more about the availability for this because they look stunning. And one thing that they did notice, if you're looking at the left hand art, this is more traditional Japanese, while on the right is showing more advancements in technology. So to give you some more examples, these are the islands. So on the left, you have the traditional waterfalls, which looks really nice. And on the right here, you have sort of like this whole origami floating structures again with ponds of water on the bottom. So it is sort of like an advancement or like a futuristic envisioning of the islands, but these are really nice. The next ones are my favorites. These are the swamps. The traditional swamp on the left is actually pretty nice. I would love to have a set of these. But the one on the right with this lantern, the art is amazing. I want like maybe 10 of these in foil. Oh, more comments. I really hope that you can complete sets easily. Yeah, fear of missing out would be real if we couldn't get you know what, that's true, that's a good point, that if we couldn't get the lands, people might have that whole FOMO and might be upset about the situation. But you know what, when they did that with Mystical Archives, those cards still found their way here and they got to every market. One of the things that Wizards has been doing now is really printing way more volume than they have been ever before, so accessibility is slowly not becoming an issue anymore. But I do get your point, and I really hope that we do get copies of these. I want this black red looking swamp. Like this is going into every deck that I have that uses swamps. Next are the mountains. So traditional one on the left, featuring a dragon, some fire, and on the right is more of a like an industrial village or city. So these are nice too. The left, I'm really getting more mountain, not so much on the right one. But again, these are still pretty nice. Last ones are the forests. So very ancient, traditional looking art on both, really. You don't see too much of progress other than maybe more structures being added into the artwork. But these ones are, again, also very distinct Japanese style artwork that I look forward to having in my collection as well. So, we've pretty much gone through the basic product information that has been released. I mean, you will get draft, set, collector boosters. You will be seeing the alternate arts. You'll get the extended arts, the showcase soft glow cards, and then if you really want to go hunt after the neon ink version, and then also for some of the Japanese art, that's all gonna be available. But they are also introducing just one more thing that I find to be one step beyond what anyone would have asked for. And what we're looking at is the Platinum Edition. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty will be having a Platinum Edition, and this is a partnership with a company known as Beetle and Grimm's. Beetle and Grimm's makes customized sort of accessories to go with your games with like tabletop RPGs and such. So they do have a couple of samples that I can show here. But first and foremost, let me go ahead and show you what exactly is in the Platinum Edition. The Platinum Edition is quite an extensive list here. So you get an exclusive Neon Dynasty themed backpack. That is right, you're getting a backpack with this. A sword adorned card vault. So this is a card container, Kami themed neon pink deck box. Then you get a demon themed lightning blue deck box. So you get two deck boxes, and they most likely will fit inside the card vault. 100 black dragon sleeves, and then 100 gold dragon sleeves. So that's for both deck boxes to be filled up. You get a Kamigawa wall art poster, 5 lithographic art prints. So those are the smaller ones. You get Kamigawa art card folio. So that's for all of the art cards that are going to be released in the set boosters. You get a sidekick plush. So you're going to see what a sidekick looks like just in a bit. But basically, there's a plushie included with this art inspired life counter. So it has its own unique life counter. LED playmat. That is right, a playmat that has lights on it. Kamigawa metal counter set. This one is actually very interesting, and I will be showing you what they look like. There is a demon mask necklace. There is no image of what that looks like, but I mean, a necklace doesn't necessarily have any bearing to the game. You get also exclusive game log. I believe this might be for the arena version of this. Kamigawa world map. So it's nice to actually get like a map included. I mean, I've played several like PlayStation games that have included full maps. And it's always been something really nice to look back at and appreciate the game more with. And then the last one is the in-world guide to Kamigawa. So some of these don't necessarily have direct bearing to the game, and some of them are just like nice to have accessories. But to show you what they look like, here are a couple of the images that they have shared. On the top left, you have the Demon Lightning Blue deck box. Underneath it is the sword adorned card vault. So there, it kind of looks like a sword, a samurai sword, and has the whole neon outline to it. The demon oni looking thing on the top here, if you notice, has a 20 on its forehead. That's the life counter. And underneath it, this is the sidekick plushie. So interesting things that to expect from this platinum edition. I mean, if you really are the type that goes above and beyond for these sets and what you want to get out of it, I mean, you can definitely look into this. Next, these are the counters that they mentioned as well. One side you will see has the +1 or +5. So these are interesting counters. They're kind of hollowed out there. Also, they look like the traditional Japanese coins. So these are very, very interesting. Now, the next ones are also ability tokens. As you can see on the bottom, they have small etched words here. The leftmost says reach, the one in the center says vigilance, and the one on the right says trample. So these are ability tokens similar to what was introduced in Ikoria. So when you grant a creature trample, you can use this as reminders. And I'm not sure how these scale. I would assume that they look like just like usual game coins. Their shape being like oblong and not round is another thing that is a little odd, but these look awesome. And I'm hoping that they're at a size that you can actually appreciate the detail. On the top, it has the whole BNG, which is the Beetle and Grim logo. So it can't be so small that you won't be able to recognize the logo. But again, this is above and beyond really what you would usually buy for Magic. So if you are interested in this platinum edition, you can expect some awesome pieces like this, and all of it gets wrapped up inside a backpack. I don't know. I mean, you can use the backpack maybe for bringing your Magic the Gathering like decks around with you. I'm not sure about the features and security of the bag. I mean, if it has any anti-theft features or such, but I can tell that it has a lot of the whole neon theming to it, which is pretty interesting. So let's take a step back again into the full list. This is the Platinum Edition. It's currently going for $449. So that's quite a price tag on it. And that's actually on a 10% discount until December 20th. And then it's going to revert to $499. But don't fret. I mean, if your budget is a little tight, they did also add in a silver edition. The silver edition only has the demon themed deck box, so it doesn't have the previous one, which was mentioned. The let's take a step back. The Kami themed neon pink. All right, so it doesn't have the pink deck box, but the silver edition comes with the blue one. 100 gold dragon sleeves, Kamigawa art folio, art inspired life counter LED playmat, the metal counter set. You do also get the demon mask necklace. You get the game log, world map, and pretty much the guide, but you don't get the card vault and the plushie as was shown, and several other items that were on that list. The silver edition is currently at $170 as it's on a 10% discount until the end of or until the 20th. So you have about a day and a half to go. And then it's going to go to $199. This is definitely out of my personal price range, so I'm not going to be getting this. But for those collectors out there, maybe check out the Beetle and Grimm site if you are interested. And you know, Platinum Edition is probably never going to be reproduced moving forward, so there is a collectability to it if that's your thing. Let's move on to just a couple of more things that I wanted to share. These ones I found interesting. This is a little bit of my personal research that I hope you appreciate. So on the website itself, they introduced or provided some artwork. This artwork has a tag on the bottom, and it is called a Ganjo Seat of the Empire. What I found really interesting here is that I recognized that name immediately, and actually, a Ganjo is a card from the original Champions of Kamigawa set. So it's nice that they took some of the previous settings and locations, and pretty much there, 1200 years into the future, it's developed and become something more than what it was. So some callback art is interesting. They didn't provide any abilities of what it does, but these are just those little bits that I picked up from some of the information they provided. They also provided this piece of artwork, which I found really stunning. I love this whole aesthetic of like a living tree, or like pretty much people turning a tree into like a temple or shrine. And then just notice underneath the artwork a name, and it says Boseiju who endures. For those of you who are commander players, Boseiju is actually a very well used card, and it is Boseiju who shelters all. So it's nice that they took these existing lands and are pretty much bringing them back in. So nice callback. Just nice to see what they've become 1200 years into the future of the plane. So a little splash of callback, bringing some notable names, introducing new characters, new legendary dragons. So the set itself looks promising. There are even 3 spoiler cards that are circulating right now that they're not confirmed, and are also showing double-sided cards. I don't know personally if those have been confirmed to really be in the set, but introducing double-sided cards again, and even including artwork from previous mentioned characters and legendary figures is very, very interesting, and I look forward to hearing more about it. If you are looking forward to it, here's the timeline that they've provided. So, the building works of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, when they're going to be discussing how they built the set, will be coming out on January 11th. The history and legends of Kamigawa, which is pretty much just the covering the gap between the two timelines from when we first were in Kamigawa till now, 1200 years forward. They're pretty much going to be covering this from January 11th to the 21st. So that's 10, 11 days really looking into that. So that should be providing a lot of information. The story itself of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty will be introduced January 24 to 27, most likely on the Wizard site through like just articles being from different angles here, introducing legendary creatures, some mechanics, and such. So something to look forward to. The debut video and preview season for the cards will begin January 27th. The card image gallery should be complete by January 4. So that really is also just about a, let's call it, 8 to 9 day margin that all of the cards are going to be released. So expect a lot of spoiler videos from or teaser videos, and maybe even several social media posts related to this for like a full week of promotion. The commander sets, as I mentioned, Buckle Up and Upgrades Unleashed, will be previewed and discussed on February 7th. The complete card image gallery will be completed by the following day, so it's going to be a really quick release. MTG Arena and MTG Online will have the set available by February 10th. And then the printed in store pre release event and sales will be on February 11th. Worldwide release, which means that it is no longer in pre-release or it's going to just be publicly available, will be February 18th. And then they're going to, of course, follow that with a in-store draft weekend. So for the store events, this may be the times when that neon yellow ink showcase version for Hidetsugu is going to be available. um let's wait for announcements just to be sure. I wouldn't want to provide information that isn't confirmed, but most likely, I mean, it's going to be Wizards Play Network prize for your local game stores. It would just depend when they decide to release that. So that's the timeline. This set doesn't really have too much information other than what I presented today. We have some leaks, we have some officially provided cards and mechanics from Wizards, which we did look at earlier. Other than that, look out for more information. And that pretty much closes our conversation for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Once I have more of a feel of what this set's going to look like, I'm definitely doing another episode because, as I said, I'm not a fan of Kamigawa. The artwork, the story, the overall theme was so interesting. I really wanted it to work. I got back into standard because of this. And the mechanics, the balancing, just so much about the whole first Kamigawa block was just a giant face palm, in my opinion. So I really hope that, they come back here and provide something with more power, more bones, and that, I don't need to be format warping. It doesn't need to like break the bank either. Like that platinum edition thing that they're releasing is kind of crazy, but they are getting to this point that, they are slowly making things like more collectible and rare. And if that's your thing, go have at it. At least now the draft versions and other stuff that are coming out are much cheaper. So that's it for today's episode. For those of you who did join me today and shared your comments, Mikey, I really hope that you do come back to Magic. I'd love to sit down and play a game with you, man. Mark, thank you for joining me this evening. Anna, thank you so much. I hope that you guys have found this interesting. Until the next episode, keep gaming, everyone.